Hi guys, we are back and I'm pleased to say we've got good news. It's just been broken by Fabrizio. Van der Beek is coming to Manchester United. We discussed it not so long back on the Ladies in Red show and we said that we felt confident. No, we're definitely feeling confident. We've had the here we go tweet from Fabrizio. I mean, Meg, how are you feeling? Sum it up.
I'm so happy that we've actually done it and we've done it at speed. We've had the rumours yesterday and now we've had the bid accepted already. No negotiations, done. That's how we should do it. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, exactly. We said that. We felt like this was moving fast, this one. It seems to have developed a lot since the other day when it was first obviously discussed, to know him training on his own and then joining us. I'm gobsmacked. You know what? Woodward deserves a bit of credit. I think a lot of people are focusing on the Sancho and the Greenwood, and this one's kind of gone under the radar a little bit. I know we've been scouting him for a while. But we discussed it earlier. Van der Beek, where do you see him fitting in? I mean, now obviously it's confirmed it's coming. I know Bruno's liked, I think, an Instagram post around it. Rashford, I believe, has liked Fabrizio's tweet as well. Where do you see him fitting in, Meg? Is he the kind of player you think who just walks straight into the starting 11? Or is it going to be more of a rotation thing?
I think right now everyone's on a level playing field, aren't they? We've just had that little break. Obviously, we're going to have an extra week before the season starts. So this is why it's so important to get these done now. Get the players in, get them in and around the other players, develop relationships. Otherwise, he is going to come in and sit on the bench because he hasn't had that time to develop relationships. But yeah, I think doing it now, getting him in, like I said, he's on a level playing field right now. If you play well in training and you're on form, you play. I've got a mosquito. That's really annoying.
They've been attacked by fly. It's all good. Yeah, I mean, Jordan says it there. He says Pogba, Van der Beek, and Bruno. That's some squad depth. And then you're looking at obviously the likes of Fred, Matic as well, of course, who is signed a new deal, so he's still going to be there for his experience as well. But it's exciting times. I read as well a tweet saying this signing of Van der Beek is not going to hold back the movement on a right-sided attacker. There's rumours that the plane has gone to Amsterdam and then straight after Amsterdam it's gone to Cologne in Germany. Do you think there's any truth to that? I mean, imagine, Meg, if we can roll out Sancho and Van der Beek in a short space of time.
Imagine if they announced them at the same time. Like, you know how they used to when you used to have the two players for the managers? That I'd love to have one of them again. But maybe that will spur on the whole Sancho movement because perhaps it was stalling because we haven't really been doing any business. And now we are starting to heat up. Like, we've got this one done and we haven't I don't think we've overpaid for him at all. And perhaps now that we've not overpaid for one, perhaps we can overpay for another, balance it back out.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously the links to Thiago as well, that's another one that's still being uttered. But Van der Beek, it's all but sealed now. I normally say don't get excited until he's holding a shirt up, but Ajax literally didn't negotiate. I believe it works out about 40 million, doesn't it? And straight away they said medicals and contracts and so on will be sorted next week. So it looks like that one's pretty much done. The player wanted to come to United and that deal's got over the line. Seems like it's all but done. But then this plane to Cologne, it gets you wondering. I wonder if we will announce two in a short space of time. It's really interesting one. A lot of people talking about Reguilon as well. I can't see him coming to us from Sevilla, to be honest with you. But he's definitely a very good player. Doug says, I've heard Barcelona have contacted Liverpool for Wijnaldum, so it looks like Liverpool will go for Thiago. I don't think that was ever in doubt, though, Meg, to be honest with you. I still felt, even though our name was uttered in the Thiago scenario, I just felt like he was going to Liverpool.
Yeah, I don't feel like we were muttered, and obviously, like, I would have taken him, but I don't perhaps think it was a strong enough rumour for us to get like sucked into it. I think we all kind of know. I think we both said we'd love to have him. Are we actually going to get him is a different thing. Whereas the Van der Beek rumours, they came out, they were really strong from the beginning. And I love the fact that we've got another club, different country, that's like, I'm not saying that they're our feeder club, but the relationship between the two clubs is really good. It's a strong relationship to have. And Ajax are a really good team. You know, it's like they're like the Leicester of the Premier League. They're good at like evolving players, and they were happy to sell on.
Brand of football, yeah.
And they're happy to sell, like.
Yeah, it's been a while. we saw you on United stand. I am on for the fan cams quite often. Hopefully, we'll see a Ladies in Red United stand link up at some point as well. I've been talking to Mark. That's exciting. Thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate it. Apparently, Eddie's already in Germany. That's also what I've heard. Obviously, if Ronald is playing, landing there. I mean, Meg, someone mentioned Grealish there. What happened to Grealish? Do you think it was very much a case of Van der Beek or Grealish, one or the other? I feel like they're very similar players, and it would have been one or the other. And I always said I wasn't 100% sold on Grealish, and I still stand by that. I'm not saying that because Van der Beek is literally around the corner, but genuinely, like, Van der Beek would have always been my choice over Grealish. I mean, what's your thoughts on the Grealish Van der Beek comparisons that people are making?
Grealish has proven himself in the Premier League, and I think that is something that goes for him. That's a pro on his side, that he has got that experience in the Premier League already, and by a way of being Villa's standout player. And I'm not saying that he single-handedly kept them up, but he was very important. He was a very important factor in that. So would I have taken Grealish? Of course I would, but now I probably wouldn't, because we've got Van der Beek coming in. I wouldn't see both of them coming in the same transfer window. But yeah, Grealish is Premier League proven.
Yeah, Alex makes a good point. Thank you for the super chat. Alex says, we have signed Van der Beek for less money than what Man City spent on Nathan Ake. It shows what a good piece of business this is by Manchester United. And I agree, it does seem like a bargain. I think Grealish being English as well, I think, and like you say, it's the main man at Villa. I think you would have to spend some money to get him from there. And so I think this has turned out to be the better deal in terms of price. Look,
Grealish is... I would say Grealish, I've seen, like, obviously doing his photo shoots in the new Villa kit and everything. It's the same with the Sancho thing, he's playing at Dortmund still. There's no... Van der Beek was training by himself. There was developments there, whereas I feel with Grealish, he's gone into the photo shoots with the new kit on, ready for the next season. Sancho's doing the same. The rumours aren't as strong, are they?
Yeah, true. And look how fast this one developed. Like Sancho, we've had now, it seems like forever that we've been talking about that deal. I just hate it when it drags out. And what I've liked about this one is this, like, literally, Saturday night, there was utterance of the fact that we could be interested. And it's now Sunday night, and Fabrizio's done the here we go tweet already. And, like, it's really progressed quickly. I think a lot of it is down to the fact, like you said, the player really wanted to come to United. I think that's pretty obvious. But yeah, I think it looks like it's going to be an absolute steal. Of course, we still have to see how he settles into the Premier League, as you've just mentioned. But in terms of value for money, I think Van der Beek will turn out to be a great signing. And I like the fact he's quite versatile in the middle as well. He can be a box-to-box. He can play, obviously, as a cam, contribute to the goals as well. And like we mentioned earlier on our Ladies in Red, he offers that. If he is on the bench, for example, I'm not saying he will be, but if he is, he offers that quality from the bench, which is something that we have lacked, isn't it, for a long time, Meg?
Yeah, and I think, like we spoke about earlier about rotation. We looked at those players, especially in the midfield, in that project restart, towards the end of it, how much we relied on, especially those top five, the front five. We relied so heavily on them performing. What was it like within 2 days of the last game? Having someone else within that. I'm not saying that he's always going to be a rotation player. He can obviously start, like we said, just in that central defensive midfield as well. But having someone of that quality in that environment, in that midfield, breaking the play up, and like doing different, like trying different styles as well. Definitely what we need.
Yeah, Alex says Van der Beek is younger than Grealish, has Champions League experience, which is a big thing because obviously we're in the Champions League this season. It's cheaper and he's been playing international football, unlike Grealish. So yeah, you'd say he's more experienced in a lot of ways. Grealish has obviously been a big fish in the little pond for a long time at Villa now. Jordan Williams, thank you for the super chat. He says, do you think we need to replace Mata when he leaves? So obviously Mata isn't getting any younger. I mean, what's your thoughts on that? A lot of people thought Angel Gomez could be the little technical player in the 10. Obviously, Bruno Fernandes has come in, Gomez has gone out. I mean, Mata, we both admire him as a player. We've spoken about him earlier, but he's not getting any younger. Do you think that we need to replace him when he leaves? I think at the moment, Mata is a good rotation player. I think he's shown, especially after lockdown, when we were struggling, he came on and he impacted the game quite a few times. We know he's a clever player. So I do think we'll miss that kind of intelligence. When he is gone, have we got a player as intelligent as Mata as getting in between the pockets? What do you think, Meg, on that one?
I mean, he is certainly, his head plays his game, doesn't it, for Mata, and his vision is just next to not. Like, nobody can match that except for Bruno. Bruno's got the age on him as well, so I see Bruno being at United for a long time. And I'm not just saying like a couple of seasons. I see him staying. But again, do you need more than one technically gifted player like that? Probably. We'd have to see if there was like perhaps if one of the youth team comes through and shows that sign. Like you mentioned, Angel Gomez. Obviously, we let him go. We both said we would have loaned him out rather than just let him go. I don't know whether we would replace him or not. I feel like we would probably just stick with Bruno for a while.
Yeah, Bruno obviously is young and up and coming. Van der Beek can also play in that 10 position as well. Let's not forget that. I think Mata's a few years down the line. Like I say, he's not getting any younger, but it might be worth looking who is coming up through the youth ranks. But I don't think that's an urgent one yet. I think they've got other positions that are priority. Yeah, if I'm totally honest. Gaz says Meg is knackered. Bless her. She's got 2 kids running around. I'm sure she is. I feel the same, and I haven't got any kids. So yes, we are. But we had to come and talk about this news because Meg, this transfer window has it felt like one of the worst ones we have had, in your opinion? I know the lockdown and stuff hasn't helped as well. But it's been depressing, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think it's dragged already. It's dragged. But I think because all these other teams, we're the last team in the top 6 to sign someone, or the big 6 to sign someone. And I know that we are targeting individual players. We spoke about this before, about we are looking for the right player. We're not just looking for a player. We're looking for characteristics on and off the pitch, so that they're in the dressing room. It's a positive vibes. But I just feel like we need to do our transfers earlier and get them nailed on, rather than just drag it out. You're looking at other clubs, especially not just to keep the fans happy. That's obviously important as well. But everyone else is doing business, and we're just being left behind. It's so annoying.
That's what it felt like. I think Chelsea are really obviously setting a statement. I think you could see Lampard doing really good business there. Obviously, Werner is a player I wanted at United. Ziyech, we see how good he was playing along with Van der Beek in that Ajax team. But they've made statements, no doubt about it. And I read a tweet earlier, and how true this is, obviously, don't take my word for it. But apparently, it said something along the lines of Manchester United as a club, they felt pressured, one by the fans about transfers, but 2 because of the way Chelsea have been moving in the transfer market, and they felt like they needed to make a statement, and they're intending on making a statement now in this window. And whether that means Van der Beek and Sancho in a short spell of time, I guess we'll wait and see on that one. But I'm hoping that does turn out to be the truth, because as fans, I feel like we have felt the pressure. I'm not saying the club haven't, but obviously they don't voice it. But us as fans, we've seen what Chelsea are doing. We've even seen Arsenal signing players, for example. City being linked with Messi, Liverpool with Thiago. And we're pulling our hair out thinking, are we actually going to do anything? Because we already know the gap is massive between us and Liverpool and City, for example. And we don't need to go any bigger. And I think it's always been about trying to close that gap, which is why I said last season was progression. We were closing that gap. We finished 3rd, luckily, because other teams were bottling it as well. It was a really embarrassing fight for the top 4, but we got 3rd. And I think it's all about closing the gap. And I think the longer we waited in this transfer market, the more worried I was going to get that we were going to fall even further behind, because we're not improving on what we know. We've got a weak squad and we need to invest. But Van der Beek, I'm feeling confident. I think he's a right mould of player that we need at United, and I'm sure that he's going to be a fan favourite. Someone asked in the chat, Meg, what number you think he'll get. He wears 6 at Ajax currently. Pogba's 6.
I can't see Pogba relinquishing his number 6. I'm rubbish at guessing numbers for shirts as well. No idea.
It'd be interesting to see what happens. Obviously, Mata is wearing number 8. We mentioned he's not getting any younger. Be interesting to see.
Do you know what though? Like modern times now, it used to be 1 to 11. It's not now, is it? You see players playing all sorts of numbers for certain meanings, and if they don't have number 7, they want 17 or 77. I don't do you know what I mean? I just don't feel like it. the numbers hold, that number 1 to 11 doesn't hold any meaning for it now.
Yeah, because like some people are saying like number 11 in the chat, but then I'm sitting here thinking it doesn't look like a number 11 player. But as you just mentioned, it's not that way anymore. Not necessarily does it have to be
number 11 Sancho.
Number 11. Yeah, see, I'll say number 7 Sancho. 7 Sancho for me. But I think it's an interesting one. Van der Beek, like I said, I think is positive. I'm intrigued to see if this plane has actually gone to Cologne after, because it makes you think, is Sancho going to be announced in the next few days? And if he is announced, it's going to be a massive statement. But Meg, if it did turn out that we ended up with Van der Beek and Sancho, just those 2 players from this window, do you think it's still been a successful one, and have we targeted key areas?
I thought that's a bloody thing. It was literally right in front of my face then. Is it successful? I can 0.5 out of 1. Like, it's a half successful, because we've brought in 2 quality players, but we haven't addressed the centre back, and that's probably the key out. I think if you look at like the areas on the pitch, you've brought Henderson back, goalkeeping. Yeah. Van der Beek into the midfield for an extra player in that midfield 3. If you get Sancho, an extra player up top, you haven't done that defence. Henderson's quality will be the next England number 1. If someone just put about wasps. Sancho's quality, Van der Beek quality. So you can't deny that if you bought those 2 and then obviously the return of Henderson, that isn't a good window, but the centre back would still be an issue. So it's not a great window. We haven't addressed all the areas.
Yeah, I think in terms of centre backs, obviously Smalling, would you class him coming back and staying as being a new signing? I use that quote, but no, that's fair enough. No. I think we would sell Smalling. I can't see Smalling staying. I think they'll cash in on him. I think obviously we need to sell players, obviously, to get some in. And I think Smalling will be one of the outgoings, because we've actually got interest in Smalling. Phil Jones, on the other hand, have been intrigued to see what happens, because it's been 9 years now at United, and you'd like to think that probably will be coming to an end at some point, but who knows? He obviously had a new deal not too long ago, so it's an interesting one. But I expect to see some outgoings, as well as the exciting news of Van der Beek and Sancho, among others. I expect to see outgoings over the next few weeks as well, because I do think we need to ship off a lot of deadwood in order to allow new players to come through. I don't think we want people like Jesse Lingard, for example, playing instead of Van der Beek on the bench. Let's get rid of these deadwood players who are stopping opportunities for other players. Like, that's happened far too often. I'm not saying Ollie would do that, of course, that was a bad example. I'm just joking. But I just think that we need deadwood gone to allow the fresh blood to come through. But Meg, Van der Beek signing, it's not happened yet, but it looks more likely to happen. Out of 10, what would you rate his signing? 10 being obviously amazing, 1 being nah.
Look, the rate, the speed of it, 10.
Yeah.
The price, 10. If we're gonna go for it, you look at, like people have mentioned, less than Ake, no negotiations, 40 million in this financial market, brilliant. So you look at those 2, 10. Is he like the best midfielder in the absolute world? No. But he is a quality player, so I'm going to give it 8.5.
8.5, I like it. You know what? Whenever I've watched him play, I think he stands out. He looks like a really technical player. Also, we mentioned his attitude, how he seems a grafter off the ball as well. I think he'll fit us perfectly. And I think because we're just lacking quality in depth as well, and lacking that rotation, I'm going to give him a 9, I reckon. I reckon if he signs Sancho, that will be a 10 out of 10 signing, because I think that's a position that we really, really need. But yeah, I think Van der Beek is versatile. I'm going to say 9 out of 10. I think he's going to be it's hard to say, is it, because he's not in the shirt yet. And to this way, holding the shirt up, you fear it for anything. But I do think he will be an amazing signing if it comes off. But it seems like it's going to come off. Good old Fabrizio's tweeted it, so yeah, we feel more confident.
That's it. It's got to be true.
Yeah, exactly.
I think I've got to go off.
For coming on as well.
I've got to go off and apparently have a lot of sleep because apparently I look really, really tired.
You don't look really
Thanks for
tired. If
everyone
anyone
that.
does, it's me.
Thanks for everyone that's just saying you look really tired.
You know what? Meg looks amazing. Like she always looks amazing. But the main thing is she talks sense as well. That's why we.
This is normal.
Yeah. But
This is unfortunately what I look like.
Spare of the moment, jumped on because the news just broke, and I was like, we've got to put something out there. We literally just spoke about it being so close, and then all of a sudden, there you go, Meg. You look wonderful. There you go.
Thank you.
But, yeah.
Someone thinks it.
We'll sleep well tonight. Some positive news for United fans, which is something that we've been desperate for. Something to actually smile about and feel positive about. Also, we've still got this little lingering thought in the back of our mind, is that plane going to Germany for Sancho? And that's something else we can get excited about. But for now, it's Van der Beek. He's going to be a red. Who knows what shirt number he'll wear, but I don't really care. As long as I see him holding up that United shirt, that's all that matters. But yeah, from me and Meg, really rate the signing. Think it's going to be fantastic. Roll on the next one. But guys, thank you so much for tuning in. If you are brand new, please,
we want more.
I appreciate it. Yeah, we want more. Prince, thank you so much. Last minute super chat. Soph N Meg, none of the fans have flopped at United except Van Gaal, Van Persie, Van der Sar, Van Nistelrooy, Van der Beek will succeed. I like that.
Van Gaal, but Van Gaal won a trophy.
Yeah, exactly.
He might
and most fans still like him as well, though. Even though obviously we got rid of him, a lot of people felt he was treated unfairly after that final.
He brought the best comedy moment
against Arsenal. Is one of my favourite moments. One of the most cringy moments, but one of my favourite moments. So yeah, Van Gaal for me. Yeah, I still liked him. But
that's a good point.
Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Yeah, I would. A lot of people saying he wasn't a flop. I wouldn't say he was a flop either. And like I say, fans did like him. It's just boring football, wasn't it? But yeah, we liked him. Guys, hit that sub button. If we have missed you in the comments, obviously drop a comment on the video afterwards. But yeah, we can go to sleep smiling tonight. Have a lovely bank holiday Monday tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow. I'm live with Claude. But yeah, me and Meg will see you very, very soon. Take care. Have a good one. And thanks again for tuning in.